Looks like we're live. I believe we're on Facebook. Is this hello Facebook world? Hi, how are you?
I think we are, man. Let's
see.
see.
There we go. Now it's live. Boom!
Oh, man. Welcome. Hope everybody's doing well. If you're joining us live, drop hashtag live. If you're watching this replay, drop hashtag replay. Super excited to have you all today. All right. I've been excited about interviewing really one of my favorite people, one of the best resources in terms of leadership, sales, and just overall one of the coolest people I know. So I'm going to wait a few minutes for more people to hop on, but super excited, man. Grant, how you doing today, man?
Dude. I'm freaking pumped to be here. I literally just ran down and took a quick shower. Otherwise, you would have seen me with my green juice that I was toting around in the big blender. You know, I start every day. Clean food, dirty beats. It's a good way to get life going.
Yeah. That's right, man. Clean food, dirty beats. Exactly. Dirty hip hop. Welcome, John. Welcome, Caesar. Welcome, everybody. Glad to have you guys here. Super excited to share this man's journey with you and to share some of his secret strategies. For once, Grant is going to be on the side that's being asked instead of being the guy who's asking the questions. So how does that feel, Grant, to be the one who's being asked the questions today, my friend?
It's so funny. You know, we were just talking about this before we went live, and obviously, but for everyone else that doesn't, I spend my entire day connecting with people, talking about their vision and supporting them in getting what they want. So I'm used to being the one asking the questions. I'm excited to kind of sit back today and see where this goes. And so that everyone knows, I have zero agenda here. I brought nothing prepared. This will be 100% off the cuff because I wanted to be authentic for you. I'm nothing if not an authentic, loving, committed leader. So, dude, pumped to be here.
That's what's up, baby. That's that maybe we can start out talking about, man. So, Grant, what allows you to just be able to very confidently show up without any preparation, without any script, without anything, man? How do you get into that mode other than the green juice and the bottom of the, the sink that you put into that blender in order to drink every morning? Tell me a little bit about that, man. There's got to be something to that.
Yeah. The simplest thing is just focusing out, brother. It's at the end of the day, we by default think about ourselves first, and that's not a bad thing. We get to be self-centered so that we can fill our own cup first, so we have things to pour out for other people. But when it comes to coaching or sales calls or things like this, it's not for me. If I was doing this for me, I mean, frankly, I would probably, be spending some time with a beautiful woman or playing some guitar or something like that. But I'm here for you, and I'm here for the community. And so I'm focusing out. And when you focus out and you show up in service, you don't worry about what other people think of you. And so I'm totally cool with stumbling over my words because I don't need you to love me. I need you to be impacted. And I know that I can only do that by focusing out and being present. Ooh, so, you're muted. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I'm back. Guys, give me a heads up that the audio and video is 100%, guys, before we roll into the other questions, because I want to make sure everybody's with me 100%. Grant, everything seems fine on your end, correct?
Everything's going well over here. Perfect, Let's get some confirmation from the beautiful peeps down below.
Yeah, give us a confirmation. Audio, video is good, guys, and beautiful, man. So that's a really good way to really get yourself in alignment, man, is to always just remember that, to get outside of yourself, to instead of being so self-focused, to really, take your energy and focus it on, like we're going to talk about for sure, your purpose, what you're meant to be there for, where it's meant to be distributed. It just empowers you to be able to, put out so much more, right? Sometimes just focusing on yourself just dilutes that light, that energy that you've come on this earth to distribute, right? It's pretty interesting.
It's an interesting balance, because at the end of the day, right, we get to fill our own cup first so that we have something to pour into others. So
Right.
time for you is sacred. But then when it's time to serve, if I'm thinking about me and what I'm saying or what I'm thinking, then I can't be fully present and serve you. So it's a balance, right? And that's why I think that I'm going to throw this out here, because I know we're all internet entrepreneurs. Because we can work anytime, anywhere, we tend to work everywhere all the time.
Everywhere else.
And it actually can dull the sword. There's a great old story about two people that were chopping down trees over the course of 4 hours, right? One of them hopped right on up, started swinging to the fences, and only made it about halfway through the tree before he falls over and collapses. The other guy, however, spent an hour sharpening his axe, 1 hour chopping down the tree, and then went and had lunch. So sharpen your axe first so that you can show up fully and chop down that tree. So give to yourself, and then when it's time to show up, show out, leave it on the table.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
So tell me, Grant, I mean, when I see somebody who's gotten a lot of insight about life, excuse me, I know you don't like to bring up your age a lot and all that stuff, but at such a young age, they usually went through a lot of shit, you know, like in a very compacted period of time, man. So just walk me through, mate, what you've experienced, some highlights of what's really helped you develop your character in a way that's made you see, you know, a little further than most people do see, not just at your age, but in their entire lifetime, man.
Yeah, it's a good point. You know, I was actually just talking with one of my other clients yesterday about this, who was really curious. I believe that a lot of our potential comes from the depth of pain that we've experienced.
Right.
Because when we know how low we can go, it gives us a much higher ceiling. I always say a tree can only grow so high as its roots go deep. So, I mean, to answer that question, honestly, my man, we got to go all the way back. I was born into an interesting family in that things were great for the first couple years. But when I was 2, my sister was killed by my babysitter, and it just ripped us apart, obviously. I mean, one can only imagine the toll on a family that can take. And so I really grew up telling myself the story that I had to make up for it. I had to be enough for 2 kids for my parents, you know, and they split up after this. So there were 2 households. I had to be enough for 2 people. And ultimately what it really created was this deep void that I was never going to be enough. And a great book by Stephen Cope, The Great Work of Your Life, talks a little bit about this, where you'll never be more clear about what you want than when you're experiencing that which you don't want. And I've had a lot of experience in feeling completely unworthy and not enough. And it drove me to accomplish a lot from a very young age. I mean, I was selling, I used to draw pictures and put them through a photocopy machine for 10 cents a piece and sell them for $1 back in elementary school. I've been working since I can remember. But the interesting thing, in spite of the fact that the pain can drive us to create so much, if we can't find our fulfillment in it, ultimately it doesn't land. And then we end up self-sabotaging, which is where I fell for a really long time. I would create amazing things off the bat because I had a complex of needing to, a chip on my shoulder, right? I built a couple different businesses that made a lot of money, and I got tired of them and blew them up because something didn't feel right. And it actually wasn't until I went through a really intensive emotional intelligence workshop that really brought to light the fact that I would continually self-sabotage until I found that fulfillment, that I was able to start creating lasting results. So if I could throw anything out there at this point, what I would really invite people to consider is that when you go through periods of life where you don't feel like you're enough and you feel like you don't belong and you feel like maybe this isn't meant for me. And I have a feeling a lot of entrepreneurs can resonate because we're the people that just didn't fit into the traditional system. You know, when that happens, a lot of times we will do things that we think will get us the love and acceptance we want. Meaning, we might develop a particular skill set or dress a certain way or act and speak in a certain way. And it's what I did for the first, basically, I'd say for a solid 10 years at least, from when I was conscious to when I was able to shift the pattern. I did everything that I thought I was supposed to do to create success and be happy. Right? But I wasn't being me. And because I wasn't being authentically me, even when I would get the external validation that I wanted so badly, it wouldn't land because the internal voice would say, if you only knew. So this is where I came up with the concept of finding out who you are and doing it on purpose. Because if you actually let go of this perception that we need to be something that we're not in order to get the love that we want, and we really tap into who am I as a human and what do I genuinely want out of my life, and we commit to doing it on purpose every day. And for me, that's being authentic, that's being loving, and it's being committed. Then we open up this like almost a magic void where just things, opportunities just come out of the woodworks. And when we're clear on who we are and what we want, it's easy to say yes to those opportunities and no to the ones that don't align. Does that resonate?
Absolutely. So what I want to know from you, man, is, I mean, clearly the key then is to be crystal clear on who your authentic self is, because that is what allows you to, like you said, make decisions in a way that is completely aligned, empowers you to make decisions where you can put your full energy behind it. And when you put your full energy behind it, you don't feel drained, you feel empowered. So tell me a little bit about how do you like, for example, you said there was a portion of your life where you were layering these different things. Say, for example, you were expressing yourself in certain ways, and it was almost like kind of a mask. It didn't feel like something that was aligned with your true self. How did you get that insight so that it could actually be in alignment? And what was that insight?
Feedback from other people, actually. So a lot of times we think that when someone criticizes us, it's because they don't like us. But what I've really come to pick up is the people that care about you most will tell you you have spinach in your teeth. And what's interesting is what happened for me when I went through, it's called ALA, stands for Ascension Leadership Academy. One of the owners rocked me because I believed I was showing up in a powerful way in the world. I practiced my ability to speak and connect with people. It's well groomed, and I would show up polished, but she could see right through that. I came across completely inauthentic. She called me a tin man, disconnected from the heart. And people might be listening to this like, wow, what an asshole. But what it allowed me to do was actually have the insight that the way I thought I was showing up in the world and the way I actually was showing up in the world were completely out of alignment. And that's a lesson that I've actually taken into my enrollment interactions. And I think that's one of the reasons people find it so powerful to be sold into a program by me, is because it's not really about the program. I'll let people know when they're out of alignment with what they say they want. Because if you tell me you want something and the actions you're taking don't align, I feel it's my duty to let you know. And I think we might have done that on our call. You tell me. I mean, what was that interaction like for you? I'm really curious to know, especially since this is live and I want, I mean, no BS.
It was really, for me,
because you don't close on one call. That's what you told me, right?
Absolutely. So for me, it was really, I felt like this ability to connect or present the dots, you know, of what I wanted and where I was and all these things, and just put them before me, and for me to kind of lay them out in a trajectory so that I could connect these dots on my own and see how, you know, you and the team could potentially be a facilitator in that journey. So it wasn't about, you know, it wasn't about you trying to present something to me, but you trying to make me see something and the potential of something, and how I could potentially be facilitated in that journey by you. So I think that's, I mean, but did I feel that you called me out, or I actually don't recall that specific element of it, man. It really did feel like, but do you recall something like that?
I'm trying to think. What I'm referencing, I believe, is probably at the end. Most people want to think about things, right? And I wish I could remember. What was it that inspired you to take action instead of adding time to the equation? Because I think if you can nail that, like, that helps everyone.
Oh man. So good question, man. Good question. So what empowered me to take the decision was sometimes when things are laid before you and things look clear enough that this is something that could be beneficial and integrated into your journey right now to enhance it, that's enough information to proceed. That's you know what I mean? And if I were to, and I know that, you know, it's just natural that when you go back into your current days or your current flow of life, sometimes you get pulled out of that empowered state and that moment of clarity, and for one reason or another, you lose this sense of you know, the need to take action, man. So I really did know that, you know, this makes sense. It makes enough sense. It doesn't have to make complete sense. I don't have to investigate forever. I don't have to get my logical mind, you know, so entangled with this. This feels right. There's also an emotional component to it that a lot of people disregard. And your subconscious mind and your ability to take on cues about authentic, the person, how serious they are, how authentic they are, how sincere they are. Are they just selling you something? Are they gonna run? You get those kind of cues from the person you're speaking to, and then you'll be able to get clarity on, you know, does this feel right? That's a big part of it, man. It's not only does it make sense, but hey, man, it looks like you've taken on the role of the questioner, and that's not what's supposed to happen. See, guys, he's a natural. He's a natural. But yeah, man, that's my insight, man. Honestly.
If I could drop something real quick that I think will be super valuable before I hand back the question asking hat. A lot of people think that they need to convince someone that their program is the best, and you don't, because information is really not the key. People make their buying decisions emotionally. And so what you get to do is only give the information that's relevant. So when you're talking presentation, and write this down, my friends, when you're talking presentation, it's, so you know how you said problem? Well, what I do is solution, which means benefit. Notice 2/3 of what I'm talking about is just referencing the fact that they have a problem and they're going to have a benefit as a result of a tiny little simple solution. The solution you provide should be incredibly simple. It shouldn't ever confuse someone, because a confused prospect doesn't buy. And then in reference to a price, it's all emotion. The investment to no longer struggle with pain, experience pleasure, and ultimately fulfill purpose is just price. And so that's how you can make it super simple for people. And ultimately, that's what they want. We just want to have clarity and to be able to make a good decision. But if you overcomplicate it for people, they get worried that they're not going to make a good decision, and they think they need to take more time to think about it. So this is a huge misnomer that I think a lot of people run into, is like trying to use fancy words and strategies and tactics to convince someone that it's the best possible program, when what they really need is just to be clear that if they say yes, you're going to take care of them, and that you understand where they want to go. And if you're a trustworthy person, just show up that way. I think the main point I really just want to get across on this live, if nothing else resonates, is just show up authentically and as a good person, and throw out the worry that you're going to stumble over your words, because at the end of the day, we will. Blah, 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 blah. That's just how it goes. And if you show up that way and you just let someone know, hey, walk with me, I'll get you where you want to go. Believe me, it'll be the best decision you made this year. It'll be awesome. So here's a question, Hat. What are we up to next, my friend?
Awesome. So really, I was speaking to Abraham a few days ago, and I want to know from you: is there something that you do before, say, for example, the sales call, or before you come in contact with somebody? Is there something that gets you, in the zone?
Like a pre-call ritual or something like that?
A pre-call ritual, yes, basically.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you want to take care of yourself all the time, but to get yourself into state, it does help to have some sort of routine. For me, it's just a reminder of why I'm here. I always set an intention with anything that I'm going to do. So before I have a call, the minute beforehand, just put my hand over my heart, and I remind myself that it is my intention that I will powerfully serve this human, whether they buy or not. And in the event that their best course of action is to move forward with my program, I will take a powerful stand for their highest potential. And that's it. And with that clear intention, you can show up fully.
Super powerful, man. So guys, this is gold. This is gold, guys. So besides the usual, be in a quiet place, be completely zoned in, let go of the yes, all of these things. Listen to what this man has. This is complete gold. Set an going to I've seen somewhere before that you say love them through the maybes, right?
Yes. That's I hate, and I use it in content because you got to resonate with people's language, right? But when I'm teaching, I don't say handle objections. People don't want to be handled, they want to be understood. So I just show up in a loving presence that, I seek to understand and then to be understood. Right.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. That's one of my really core principles as well, man. It's so powerful, man. So perfect, man. So we got a quick sense of some of the shit that you've been through. Super powerful. How you got some insight. How you were able to align with yourself a little bit. When did you start seeing the power of, or when did you start getting into sales, and then after that, how did that evolve into a deeper sense of enrollment and what that means, and it is a tool for transformation? Like, tell me about your specific journey with sales, just sales.
Yeah, it's great. I hope that all of you watched the last interview with Abraham, because sales truly is a tool of transformation, and it's why I got addicted. So my first successful online business was fitness coaching. And I love to use this analogy, one, because it really resonates with me, but two, because it's easy to wrap your head around. So if you want to lose weight, you need to eat the right foods in the right amounts consistently, not just one day, but over periods of time. Same thing with working out. It's like you can't just have one workout and expect to be changed. So we know consciously change happens over time. But transformation happens in the instant that someone shifts their belief, when they commit to making different decisions and they put their money where their mouth is. So in the process of building that business, I found that what fulfilled me most was actually facilitating those mindset shifts. And that happened in two different places, on coaching calls and on enrollment calls. And so when I really thought about what is fulfilling me about what I'm doing and how can I do more of that, it was sales. And my mentor at the time, amazing guy, built a couple different door-to-door companies to 7 figures, just a sales god. And I actually partnered with him and started selling for some of the top bodybuilding.com athletes, fitness coaching businesses. So built out the sales processes with him there. And man, I was just hooked because I love the opportunity to connect with people. And I like to say test drive their vision for life. Because when you allow yourself to step into their world and get sold on what they want to create, then you'll find you assume this moral obligation to help them get that, assuming that you have the tools that could support them. And when you do that, it's not a matter of trying to come up with the right tactics. It's just you being a good human, taking a stand for them. And so that's powerful. So for me, I just really got addicted to getting to know people and have that interaction. Because at the end of the day, every call is different and it's so exciting.
So powerful, man. You see, like the similar theme keeps recurring with Abraham's call and even with this one is, guys, you want the kind of results, like Grant didn't say it, but he was the youngest ever store manager of GNC, and he had record-breaking numbers. Guys, you want results like that, you gotta come from a place of sincerity, of passion, of love, of understanding, of caring for the customer, of setting your intention to do the right thing for the other person. It is crystal clear. When you do that, you get the result. So don't worry about the surface level crap. And like, obviously that stuff is helpful, and I'm sure Grant studied that stuff a lot and he refined his skills. But I'm sure that the breakthroughs that you're gonna get, that are gonna take you from 0 to 100 or from 10 to 1,000, is really gonna come from that alignment, that sincerity, that really looking into someone's eyes and looking for, if you're in a GNC, you're looking for that best supplement to get them from that that point of transformation to lose a certain amount, or to gain a certain amount, or to you know what I mean? Always finding the thing that's the right fit, no matter what. And like, it's amazing how he described that, not only in his high ticket or whatever, he's explaining it, you know what I mean, even from a perspective of a commercial product, something that's sold. It's amazing because both are tools for transformation, guys. If you can align the gap with the product, then guys, it's game over. So thank you so much, man. I just wanted to highlight that because it keeps coming up, and I'm trying to bring people on to see what's allowing you guys to be exceptional. Because Grant, guys, he's really exceptional. I know a lot of people who are good, but really Grant is really next level, and really one of the best in the world. And so it's really comes down to things like that, guys, that level of depth. So awesome, man. So what I want to know from you, man. Yeah, go
real
for
quick. I'll toss something in, because what you touched on was, I think, the key. We've spent so much time reading books and going on podcasts and trying to digest the perfect thing to say. And it's not a strategy thing. Ultimately, you need a framework for being able to facilitate an enrollment conversation, but that's possibly 10%. And we could go into the science of the fact that we have mirror neurons in our brains for a reason. But what I will say, to keep it simple, is that an enrollment conversation, you're transferring an emotion. And what you touched on, where you show up passionate, excited, compassionate, when you can transfer clarity and certainty to somebody else by generating it within yourself, if your certainty in the fact that they can accomplish what they want overrides their certainty that they can't, then they will say yes. Mm-hmm. It's how we're physiologically made. So it's huge. If I could give anyone an invitation to dramatically increase their ability to sell more things, it's to show up in a different way of being, not to try a new script, not to try the next, latest, greatest technique. It's to show up in a curious compassionate, certain, clear way of being.
Say that one more time. Those
all the
4 or 5 C's. Say that again.
All the C's.
I want them to hear it.
Curious. Yeah. Curious. You got to be curious. Like, people don't want to be steamrolled. They want to feel heard. So you show up with curiosity. Really? Tell me more. Why do you think that is? I don't want to assume anything. What do you think's going on? Showing up compassionate, actually giving a fuck. When someone goes there, acknowledging them. Like, man, full transparency, I've been really screwing up in my business and I don't know what to do. And it really sucks. Am I going to say, yeah, that sucks, but you ready for a solution? No, I'm going to say, my man, I can empathize with that. And I want you to understand that you're not alone. In fact, a lot of people have been in your shoes. And while you might be looking at that as a disadvantage right now, what I want you to know is that because you've gone through that, you're much more aware of what you do want now. And because of that, I see you being one of my most successful testimonials, assuming we can get you on the right track. Showing up with clarity, meaning I'm clear about why I'm here. We talked about the intention, right? If you're clear about why you're here and you help someone else get clarity, boom. And then the last one was certainty or conviction. So certainty is like, basically, I know that this is a fact. And conviction is more, I would almost equate it to like a religious kind of sense. Like, it just is woven into my every fiber of my being. Because if you can show up and let someone know, believe me, if you're even half as successful as the rest of the people I've worked with, the only problem you'll have is that we didn't get started 6 months sooner. Sound fair enough? I'm giving you my certainty. So those 4 C's right there, if you show up in those ways of being, you'll be a dramatically more powerful enroller.
Powerful, man. Awesome. You just brought something up that, you know, like I want an insight now into, you know, something that Grant is really a master of, and that anybody who really knows how to enroll people into a position, greater position in their life, wealth, prosperity, health, whatever, is really somebody who can master the right questions to get somebody thinking about where they are and where they want to be with crystal clarity. So Grant, I'm going to put you on the spot, and I want to know, what are like the top, you know, 3 questions that you could ask somebody? Or alternatively, I'll give you some options, all right? What are the critical stages of a successful enrollment call, not, you know, just from a tactical perspective, but one that can actually get somebody to, at the end of it, feel so empowered they've made a decision and they've made the right one. You can choose one or 2, or we can do both, if, you know.
Well, at the end of the day, there is a framework that gets to be walked through. And I mean, if you think it would be supportive, we could literally go through the perfect sales call framework and blow some brains out of the water. But if you want to focus on the questions, and we'll leave an open loop there, if you want to focus on the questions, the best possible question that everyone gets to have in their repertoire is, really, why is that? And every variation of it. Why do you think that is? Why is that? And the reason for this is because regardless of what you ask, you're going to get a cocktail answer. You typically need to go 3 layers deep. The first 2 are going to be surface level. And it's not until you have an emotional driver behind the vision or the pain that you have any leverage whatsoever. So for example, why are you here, right? Okay, I'll give you the other best question to ask on a sales call is, so why'd you book this call with me today?
Right, that's the one I start.
That's how you start off every call after you've pre-framed it. So why'd you book this call with me?
Yeah, why'd you take some time out of your day to book a call with me? Exactly.
Right. And so for example, let's say, well, I want to lose 30 pounds. Really? 30 pounds. Why is that? So that's answer 1, right? Okay, 30 pounds. If I had just said, oh, cool, I can help you do that, Really? Come
You didn't
on.
get it. You didn't get the juice.
So really, 30 pounds. Why is that? Well, I mean, I want to be able to like fit back into some of my old pants. It's been a while since I could. Really? Why do you think that is? Right? Well, after I had my last baby, I just never got myself back in shape, and it's been really tough because now my first two are old enough to want to go to the pool in the summer, and I can't bring myself to put on a swimsuit because I can't stand to look at myself. Ooh, sorry to hear that. I'm curious. You say this is because you need to lose some weight. You're lacking confidence in your appearance. Why do you think that is? Well, when I don't look good, I just feel bad, and I'm it sucks. I just have no confidence anymore. And so now that we're down to an emotional driver, right? The fact that, oh man, right? You can tell it in their language and in their voice too. I just don't have any confidence anymore. Really? I'm curious, Josie, where do you think that might be showing up elsewhere in your life too? Because typically where there's fruits, there are roots, and we've identified those. Where else is this showing up in your life? Might be in her relationship, at her job, everywhere. And so once we found that the actual driver for her decision making is to be confident and loved, likely to have love in her life, it's one of our driving human needs, and probably significance too if she's concerned so much with her appearance. Then we know actually how to guide her into saying yes to what she wants. Because then we can say, so the investment to no longer struggle with your confidence, to finally be able to put back on that bikini and enjoy the pool days with your kids, so that you can ultimately live a confident, passionate, free, vibrant life with your family and be the example they deserve, is just $2,000. It's a fucking no-brainer at that point. You literally touched upon her core driving need. And you got there because you just kept asking, really? Why is that? That's the number one question right there.
So powerful, man. So powerful. So it's just really about, instead of trying to go on to the next thing in the script, you're trying to go one level deeper inside their drivers, man. That's all it is about. Yeah. It's really about one step, that's powerful, man. And and something you touched upon really briefly, but by the way, let's check the comment section. A lot of love. All right. You're getting a lot of love, man. People want the frameworks, but I think you're hitting it because you just got "I love you" from John. Thank you, John. We all love Grant. Grant, I'm gonna ask you a question because you went over it briefly, but I want to know. You said when you're digging with these questions, what are the core drivers? You mentioned love is one of them. Explain those core drivers for me, please, so that people know when they're digging, they have a sense of what's actually, you know what I mean, when they have arrived at that core. You said there's something about the tonality of their voice and stuff like that, but just elaborate on that for me, please, because I don't want people to rush through their conversations. I want them to really listen in and hone in on that thing.
Yeah. So Tony Robbins, one of the freaking OGs of this space, right? Identified the basic 6 core human needs, and they are as follows. There's certainty, uncertainty, love and connection, growth, contribution, and significance. And uncertainty really kind of means variety. So ultimately, what you want to be listening for in these enrollment interactions and in conversations in general too, people are going to start loving you if you prove to them that you're listening and they like feel heard, especially when you can put into better words their fears and their goals than they can. Like they'll let you lead them because it's obvious that you get it. So anyway, 2 frameworks that I use in my brain. I know that it's typically the third answer that is the one I'm looking for, but if that's all that I relied on, then hey, if someone's a tough cookie, then I might not go deep enough. Or if they're super open and vulnerable, I might just be asking them like to go deeper when there isn't anything deeper. So what we want to look for is when people stop talking about tangible results and they talk about a feeling. So I want to make 6 figures. Cool. Why? Curious. What is that actually going to do for you? How does your life change? Well, I'd be able to, go travel and take my kids to Disneyland. Really? You want to travel? That's not something that you're already doing? Well, no, I feel like I'm stuck here at home. Stuck at home? Really? So they feel stuck. They feel caged. They're looking for variety. Boom. Simple. And you will be able to find these things once you get down to how they're feeling. And so, a lot of people are looking for certainty, and they're looking for significance, and then love. Like those are pretty much the top 3 that you'll find people are really looking for. In the entrepreneurial space, growth is a big one too. So you'll find that a lot more so than if you're just like in retail. And more, I'm loving this actually. I don't know statistically if this is how the world is going. I would love that. But just in my experience, I'm finding that contribution and connection are getting to be much bigger drivers for people as we move more into this automated, world that lacks intimacy. People really crave that connection. And that's why, I love that you're building such an awesome community here, and everyone, like, as soon as you're done with this video, scroll around in this group and go give some love to people just for the hell of it. You might make someone's day, and you might also make a friend that supports you in creating exactly what you want in life. Give what you want to get out of life. And I want to say that again. Give what you want to get out of life. If you want more love in your life, give more love. Seriously. Because if you help enough people get what they want, it's going to be really, really hard to not end up getting what you want. That's like the biggest thing. Seriously, let that seep into your subconscious. If you help enough people get what they want, it's going to be really, really hard for you to not end up with what you want.
Say that one more time. Say that one more time.
Yeah, if you help enough people get what they want, you're going to have a really hard time not getting what you want.
Right.
And so just always think, give to the world what you want, and it will come back to you. But what you withhold from the world will withhold from you. If you say, I'll wait until someone does me a favor before I do something nice, you're going to keep on waiting. It's just, it's the same thing. Like, even in a business context, like if you're waiting for people to come book calls with you, you're going to keep waiting. Like, go do something proactive. Yeah, it's just a real good reframe, because a lot of people have a sense of entitlement, and you're not going to get given shit. No one's here to give you shit. I learned that much younger than a lot of people, and I'm blessed for that. We talked a little bit about the fact that, hey, life's not always great, and it gives us opportunities to grow through it. Yeah, I hope this is helpful. I hope this resonates with someone. If it does, drop a comment below.
Yeah,
it's always good to have feedback. If you hate me, let me know. If you want me to say something different.
Man, you're getting, I want more Grant in my life. The framework is fired. So guys, give us some more, but we love you guys. And Grant loves you too. So awesome, man. Awesome. So for those who, first of all, the questions were super powerful, and I love that there's a lot of simplicity, and that's what I always often see in mastery, is the ability to simplify things down to their core, and to see that it's as simple as asking, why is that? Like, you have to dig deeper, guys. You have to find, but I love how you taught it in such simplicity, man. But that just shows that when you get to the core of something, you can just express it so simply, but it takes a lot of depth and understanding, knowledge to do something in that manner. So I appreciate that. So So tell me, man, regarding this is for me, and I'm so curious. Why did you go into the Leadership Academy, and tell me about that experience, man.
Dude, it's so funny. You know, my business partner, Ben, actually, in one of the other businesses I'm a part of, he had gone through it and he just said, Grant, this is for you. You're doing it. I'm not even kidding. I wish I could say that there was like a big old story behind it, but the key thing here to recognize is when you are in such tight rapport with someone,
yeah,
you've provided value to their life. You have followed through on your commitments. You are your word. When you say you're going to do something, you do it.
Yeah.
Then when you actually give someone direction, they'll follow it. You know, I told you, Ben was he was like my intro to sales, and he has never lied to me. When he says he's going to be somewhere, he is. He's proven that he cares. And so when he gives me direction, I'm 99% going to take it. Obviously, I'm always going to check in with my gut, but he said, you know what, Grant? I guarantee you this will be transformational for you. And here's the funny thing. I literally had no clue how long it was. I didn't know anything about it. I just said, yes, where do I buy the ticket? And so this is something where I really invite you guys to consider how you can show up in your own world in a way that allows you to be so influential that when you say to someone, I believe this is the best thing for you, they actually listen and believe it. You got to build up that trust bank with people. And you do that, for example, just like you, my friend, are doing with this group. I mean, you show up consistently. You're taking your own time to do these interviews and post content and come up. I mean, you are showing up. You're a trustworthy guy. You're authentic. You are honest. You are driven. And you're really fucking smart. And anyone that's been in here that's ever considered like working with you, that's been on the fence, like, hello, this is a guy who's continually growing. Like, get on while you can. Just do it.
It's really, really like, I love how you said the value bank.
As a coach. Yeah. Value or trust bank. I mean, like, either way, like, whatever you want to consider it as, like, continually be making deposits into it. So many people want to take withdrawals, but if you've never put anything in there, you can't take anything out.
My mentor, he once explained that, like, it's almost like you continuously, I love how he said it, throw a rope to someone else. And eventually, like because of the density of the rope, like when the time comes for you to pull it, they come right away. I loved it so much, man. It was a good metaphor in my mind. But because you're throwing the rope, and by throwing the rope, you're helping somebody from a position where you can help them. So it kind of just it made me reflect on it's exactly what you're saying right now, man. You're throwing more ropes, and you're giving more value up front. And not only can you when you, for example, in your case, he was telling you to do something, that's you know that he's telling you to do something that's in your best interest. You know that he understands you. You know that he's taken the time to really diagnose your situation and see and you take a decision like that, which I'm sure in many ways has I want you to tell us briefly about that, but has made a pivotal change in your life, in your depth, in your understanding, in your self, how you're able to reflect into yourself and align yourself and all of these things. So no, I mean, I completely agree with you, man. This is, it's so true, man. That really comes down to that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is why rapport in the first place is necessary, right? Like if someone doesn't trust you, they're not going to listen. That's the whole context of an enrollment call too, my friends, is diagnose, prescribe. We think that we have to spend all this time like selling. It's not that. It's question after question after question, so that they feel. Here's a great thing. I said, I seek first to understand, then to be understood. That's an old Stephen Covey thing, I think.
Stephen Covey, yeah. 7 Habits.
Yes. But I want to take it a step further and say that yes, your job is to understand, but more than that, your job is to make them feel understood.
Yep.
And we do that by actively listening and repeating back to them what they're saying. So what I'm hearing you say is you've been struggling for a while with blank, and what you'd really like is blank. Do I have that right? Yes. Great. Thank you for the clarity. What I see possible for you is blank. Do you resonate with that? Yes. Are you ready to take a step in that direction? Yes. Awesome. Let's have that conversation. So that's a big one. Now, to answer that question, honestly, I can't even describe the depth of impact that going through that, the academy had on my life, because it afforded really unique opportunities. One, for feedback, to be able to get direct, honest, interruptive feedback from people who had no ulterior motive, but to support me. That's big. Find someone in your life that's willing to be honest with you and ask them, how do I show up to you? What could I improve about how I'm showing up? Like, ask them for genuine feedback. The container provided me a safe space to explore the pain that I've been through and actually move through it. When we stuff things down, we create more pressure. And when we create more and more pressure, we take up mental capacity and bandwidth, and we start to feel heavy. This is something that I'll say it, and no one will get it until they go through it. But when I came out of one of those weekends after going and confronting and going through some of the deepest pain that I've experienced, I literally felt lighter, like in my body. And so obviously not everyone's going to go through these things. If you're curious, of course, you can look them up. But one of the things it really taught me is to be grateful for the pain in the moment. Because the universe, it's really interesting. It's always going to equal out. Homeostasis is a thing, right? So for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. It's been explained so many different times, but simplified, you're going to experience equal and opposite degrees of pain and pleasure. And if you keep yourself emotionally guarded and closed off and just live within this range, yeah, you can.
Wow.
But you won't be ultimately fulfilled. If you open yourself up to much higher highs, you inevitably open yourself up to much lower lows. But there were never really that grade of paintings painted in just blue. A couple months ago, for the first time, like, I was just having a horrible day, just horrible. Like, didn't even know really why. Cry and just fall apart and just not do anything. It was magic. Like, I found a state of gratitude knowing that, oh my God, if I can feel this bad, it means that I have the capacity to feel equally and opposite as good. And it was like, whoa, I can't wait for that day. And that's man, awesome. They keep on coming. Those days, like, I feel like sometimes I feel like I'm a little too lucky now, but like literally just going through instead of pushing it down.
That's so powerful, man. That's so powerful, man. It's really true. Like that if you can be present with your greatest pain, it's a pathway really to so if you can really the thing that's really giving you the most pain right now is the doorway to your greatest pleasure, and just being present with it and getting that insight from it and embracing it, like you're saying, with gratitude. That's so powerful, man.
Did you ever watch the movie Fight Club?
Yes, of course.
So do you remember the lye burn on his hand?
With the soap?
He said, stay with it, stay with it, stay here.
Stay here,
right?
exactly.
Stay here.
Stay
and
here.
When you you give yourself the ability to go much further. A tree can only grow so high as its roots go deep. I said it before. I want that anchored for you guys, because you get to have gratitude for the lows, knowing that you got an equal and opposite high coming.
So powerful, man. So powerful. Amazing. I don't know. I really, you know, if there's any better way to end this conversation than with that right there, guys. So I don't know how much to thank you, man, for this and for your insights, but really for showing depth, you know, that that is required to get the kind of results, you know, number one, youngest storm, all of these things, guys, they come from that level of depth. They come from that level of depth, not from, you know, for sure, you can tell from how he's speaking that there is so much knowledge seeking and self-development, and he's not going and, you know, helping hundreds of other people achieve six figures from a position where he hasn't achieved it himself. He's put himself through hell in order so he can put the ropes out there and put the ropes and have the capacity to do that with the sponsored by Green Juice, of course, so that and dirty hip hop beats. But every day, this man is going out there and he's throwing the ropes out there so that when he pulls on these ropes, he has that kind of influence. It doesn't come from you sitting there and hoping. It comes from you developing yourself into the character that you want to, you know, that you need to become, and going through the hell that you need to go through in order for you to help so many others to achieve what they want to achieve in life from a position of insight and understanding, compassion. So embrace your pains, right? That's what this is probably the greatest things. Embrace your pains, be grateful for them, and see that there's a pathway through them to a better position. And what you said in the end was gold, my friend, which is a tree can only grow as high as its roots. And for you, what are the roots, my friend? Just explain that.
The roots, it's being able to be in touch with what we've gone through. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, if there's something in your life that still has a deep emotional charge, that means you're not done processing. So actually go back and continue. That's the thing. Like, there was a good, I wish I could remember his name. Sorry. Oh, T. Harv Eker. We have the fruits. Those are our results. We can't change the fruits without addressing the roots. So if you're not getting the results you want in life, stop focusing on this and say, what is it that's actually contributing to it? So what happened to me that caused me to create a story that, because events are neutral, but we create a story around them that build our belief systems, that set in place our patterns of operation that give us our results. If you don't have the results you want, look at the patterns of operation that you're doing because you believe certain things, because you told yourself a story about an event, and tell yourself a different story. Since we get to choose our beliefs, choose empowering ones. Let's leave it on that one right there. You get to choose your beliefs in life, so choose empowering beliefs.
Gold, man. Gold. Awesome, bro. I mean, I actually just want you to repeat that one more time so that everybody understands that crystal clear, man. Explain to them that how the roots, where they come from the story all the way to the top.
Oh yeah.
And this is just something I want everybody to get crystal clarity on.
I'm not going to say this is a fact. I'm going to say this is my belief because I choose my own.
Of course.
But life is neutral. None of this has any meaning. Humans are unique in the fact that we are meaning-making machines. That's what we do. We put labels on things. That's why we have language and names. We're not just existing. So things happen to us. We tell ourselves a story about those things. And that story creates our belief systems. And then our belief systems are what set in place our patterns of operation. And those patterns of operation, the things that we're doing, give us our results. And so if you don't like the results you're getting, start peeling back the layers. Okay, what was it that I was doing that got me these results? Cool. What do I believe about myself or other people that has me performing these actions. Great. Is that serving me? And if those things aren't serving you, if those beliefs aren't empowering, then what was the story that I've been telling myself about what happened to me? Right? Because we can't change what happened, but we can always change the story. You know, I could sit here and call myself a victim because a lot of bullshit's happened, but no, I believe that what happened to me did so that I would have the emotional capacity to serve at a much higher level. So because I tell myself that story, I show up with a different belief system. I do different things. And so I have different results. That's it.
That's it, my friends. Thank you so much, man. Just a casual conversation between me and Mr. Grant here. And I love you, man. And thank you so much for imparting your wisdom, your knowledge, your experiences, your deepest insights to this community. I'm sure everybody appreciates it 110%. And I love you, man. And we talk soon, man. All right?
Dude, thank you so much for having me.
Thank
Man,
Thank you.
know that I love you and I will
I love you
continue to
too.
prove it with my
I love
actions.
you too. I love you. I love you, man. Take care, bro.
Bye-bye.